Hello everyone, welcome back to Life of the Troxels. My name is Laura and I am now a mom of 4. I can say that now for 3 weeks that I have been a mom of 4. I have had 4 C-sections with my 4 kids, so I consider myself a little bit of an expert on C-section recovery. Recovery has been different for all of my kids. Every pregnancy is different, every delivery is different, every recovery is different, every child is different. And so there's definitely some changes that happen with baby number 4, but there were definitely some things that stayed true through all of my recovery processes. And so I wanted to bring that up and share that with someone who might be going through C-section recovery for the first time. This is just some products and some advice that have really helped me on my recovery process. And most of these things could be for any type of delivery that you've had, but I'm specifically saying this for a C-section because that's the experience that I have. So I did want to start off by saying, if you are a mom who just had a C-section or is expecting to have a C-section and going to be going through the recovery process, then I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad you found my video and found my channel. And if this video has helped you, then go ahead and give it a thumbs up and let me go ahead and get started. So we'll start with the products that have helped me the most. And these aren't gonna be the most glamorous things, I promise. It's a little bit nitty-gritty, but one of the things that helped me the most is adult diapers. So for this recovery, I found a lot of the times like the high-waisted underwear was very helpful, but when I was in the hospital, their little mesh underwear with the pad situation in it is no fun. And especially when you're sitting on your butt in the bed for a week, it gets uncomfortable having to sit on that. So I definitely brought some adult diapers with me to the hospital and was wearing it on the day that I was going home in the car. And I felt that it was the most comfortable over my fresh incision, as opposed to something high-waisted with like a waistband or anything like that. It was nice to have it all contained. Get you some of these. Another thing that kind of worked in the hospital as well were the nursing nightgowns. And I also wear these when I'm at home as well. So I'll wear a nursing bra and then I'll have like whatever underwear situation going on, and then I'll do my nursing nightgowns on top of it, and they're long enough that I'm fully covered. So that's really helpful to, if you have guests or someone coming over, you're covered. If you have like an accident or whatever, you're covered, you know what I mean? So this one has a button up, which is really easy, and I like it because it goes straight down. So there's no like a waistband or anything that can like pinch. And this one, same kind of idea, it just has like a V-neck to nurse on. This one does have a waistband though, it's elastic, but it comes up higher. It's right up here, so it doesn't interfere with like where the incision is. So I feel like that one's also a really good one. And those are really helpful for just being around the home. And once you start going outside the home a little bit more, and I don't mean like getting in the car and like going to like your doctor's appointment or anything like that. I just mean like if you're going to throw out the dirty diaper into the trash in the front yard, or you're going out onto the porch to bring in a package, or to say hi to your neighbors, or even just to like get some fresh air outside of the house, you need something that's like a little more covered up than just like your pajamas. And so I love these like matching sets. I actually have multiple colors of the same set, and I can show you what it looks like fully standing up What's really nice is it's super loose and comfy, and you can, you know, pull it up if you want to nurse, but it's also got the high-waisted shorts, so nothing rubs on your incision, but it's flowy and comfortable, and you can feel like you can go out, like I said, onto the sidewalk, onto the porch, and if other people see you, you know, you're a little more covered up, you feel a little more put together. And this is kind of like my next step once I stop wearing the nightgowns all day. And along with that, I recommend getting a pair of slippers with a sole. So these have a little sole. You can tell that I've worn them. These were brand new for this pregnancy that I got. I even packed them. Oh no, I didn't pack these in my hospital bag. I packed my old ones that I bought a new set to have around the house. I want some shoes on without having to search through my pile to find the shoes that fit my swollen feet. So that has definitely come in handy. So another thing would be headbands. And I have two different kinds here. One of them is the like terry cloth spa headband. I thought that was gonna make such a cooler sound than it did. And these are the ones that you like wrap around your head when you're taking a shower, when you're washing your face, or whatever it may be, and it helps keep like your hair out of your face. It also helps keep like the water off your hair. I use this if I'm showering and not washing my hair. I put it around my head and put my hair in a ponytail, and then that way when I'm washing my face or the water from the shower, it doesn't mess up like my hairline and everything and make your hair feel like kind of dirtier quicker. So I love these. I also have these two like stretchy headbands in two different sizes. So this one is more like a workout one. Like I would wear these to like yoga, pretty basic ones. And then this is the same kind of material. It's just a little bit thicker. So this one I feel like is more like part of an outfit. Well, this is like workout kind, if that makes sense. But the same thing, but just, I don't know. That's what I feel like my fashion is. Another one is get yourself a strong deodorant, okay? We are gonna be stinky in postpartum. It's a fact. So this is actually a men's deodorant that I got, and I like the smell of it. It's definitely like a neutral kind of smell. I just got like whatever brand at Target that was on sale and wear it all the time. I used to not wear deodorant at nighttime. I would shower at night and I wouldn't put any on because I'm like, you know, give my armpits like a little bit of a break, but you get a little stinky. So I started putting that on at night, and I would wake up for feedings a couple times and I could smell like this deodorant that was working, and I was like, I feel better when I wake up in the morning. I don't feel as gross. I don't feel like I immediately need a shower, immediately, you know, to change my clothes. And I'm sure everybody else in my family can appreciate the fact that I don't stink too bad either. And so the last product that I have over here, hard to miss, is my pregnancy pillow. And this one's really cool. It actually has like another side that like zips on right here. I don't use it for that. I just use it like this. And I know the joke is that like as soon as you get home from the hospital, your husband wants to like toss this out of the bed because it is just like takes up too much space. I don't use this like I did when I was pregnant, where you would like spoon it or like put it between your legs or anything. I found that sleeping on my side in early recovery was very difficult and very painful. So it would hurt to like roll my knees over, or if I got under the side, it was very hard to then get myself up out of bed using those non-existent ab muscles. But your butt would just fall asleep, and it would just be achy from like literally sitting and laying on my back the entire time. So I wanted to sleep on my side. So what I did was get this pillow out and I would prop it up on my side, kind of like where I'm on my back, but I'm like propped up along my butt and my whole back. So I'm like tilted, but not fully on my side. Like my knees hadn't like tipped over, my knees were still straight. That made such a difference on my quality of sleep. I was able to sleep better. It was more comfortable. It was less painful for me to get out of the bed when I was able to kind of adjust my position, and I could put it on my right side, I can move it to my left side, as well as you could use it for nursing, or even if I used it to kind of prop myself up behind me while I was nursing. And another thing that I use it for is early in the morning, if I'm like nursing the baby and then I'm getting up and out of bed and starting my day, he doesn't always go back into the pack and play that's next to my bed. Sometimes he stays in the bed with me, and me and my husband are up for the day. So I'll leave him on the bed, and then I'll put this pillow along the side, kind of use it as like a bumper. That way, you know, if my 3-week-old learns how to roll over, then if he rolls, he's not gonna roll off the bed. Or, you know, he's got older siblings. If they come in, it kind of gives like a little bumper from any accidents rolling off the side of the bed. So I have definitely found some uses for my pregnancy pillow in postpartum. So now I'm gonna take you around my house and give a little bit of advice. Okay, so here we are in my nursery, and I wanted to point out the TV as number one. I do have a TV in my kids' nursery, as well as this chair, and this one specifically with the ottoman and not a recliner. So the first reason I wanted to point out this chair, I don't necessarily mean this one specifically, but if you have a C-section, you do not want a recliner where the feet pop out, okay? You want one with an ottoman, and it's because when you first have a C-section, you don't want to be pushing down with your feet. So you recline it, your feet pop up, and you lean back, and it's super comfortable, and then now how do you get out of the chair? You have to push down on your feet and use your abs to sit forward. Lots of times you're holding a baby while you're doing it, so you only have one hand, and that is nearly impossible. If you're having a chair in your nursery, don't have it be a recliner, or if it's a recliner, don't recline it until you're comfortable being able to push yourself up. That's why I have the one with the ottoman, and that has definitely been a lifesaver. In addition, it is in the same room as the TV, and I know it's kind of controversial, like, oh, you have a TV in your kid's bedroom, and it's like, well, it's not on all the time. I actually use it a lot more than the kids do, because this is where I'm nursing, and I'm sitting here nursing. I need a way to entertain myself. And what a lot of people don't know, or what a lot of moms don't realize, is that breastfeeding and nursing, if that's what you choose to do, is a two-handed job. I mean, even bottle feeding a newborn is a two-handed job. And so if you're sitting here and you're feeding your baby 8, 10, 12 times a day, you're not going to have hands free to scroll on your phone. At least not initially. Like once they're a couple months old and they've kind of got it figured out, you'll have a free hand. But when you're first learning and they're first learning, it's a two-handed job. You can't scroll on your phone. You can't have like a Kindle. You can't, I mean, like, unless you're like listening to music, but having a TV really helped with that entertainment while I'm spending so much time in this room. My sister-in-law was absolutely appalled that I would put a TV in my kids' room, but my lactation consultant actually recommended it. So my next piece of advice is to have a place to put the baby that's not the ground. And it kind of sounds kind of silly. You're like, I'm not putting my baby on the ground, but it's really hard to get on and off the ground on the first couple weeks. Hard to get on and off the ground. It's hard to bend over that low. Squatting, bending, lifting, things like that. Especially if you have older kids, that puts baby in a very vulnerable place, being on the ground. Although I am all for it. I even have a swing that's pretty low to the ground, and we love that swing, but it's hard for me to have to bend all the way over to get him in and out of the swing. So I need to find another place to be able to set him down safely. So I've mentioned this before. This is a Baby Delight little lounger thing that I've shared in my Newborn Essentials video, and I stand by this. I love this thing. But then I also found this. This is by Bricka, and it's another little like play yard with the sides on it. breathable mesh sides, but they collapse down for you to be able to get baby out. It doesn't come with any legs or anything, but this would be a perfect thing for on your bed, or if it's on a couch or something. And if you have like siblings, it kind of gives like a little bit of a barrier for them. And it's not very big, it's just big enough for, you know, a 1 month old, 2 month old baby. We actually used this as my daughter's crib when we went on a road trip in our RV for the very first time. This has come in handy a few times, and it folds up so small, just like the Baby Delight. Folds up super small and compact. So that, or even a pack and play with the mattress raised, or a blanket on the couch, anything like that, a safe place for baby to lay down. So another thing that you definitely need for C-section recovery, but any type of postpartum recovery, is a change of sheets. We have like 3 or 4 sheet sets that we rotate in for our bed. And that has made such a difference. If you end up sweating at night and getting like night sweats, and so if the sheets get gross, or like your pillowcase gets gross, or you're changing the baby on the bed and then there's like dirty diaper on it, or, you know, spit up gets on the bed, whatever it may be, you're like, okay, I need to change the sheets. It's really nice to have a spare set that you can just like go and switch it out without having to wait for it to go through the laundry. And you're not going to be lifting the corner of the mattress. Like I said, we're not lifting anything more than 9 pounds to change the sheets. So, you know, have your husband change it for you, but just being able to have something fresh where you can shower and get into your clean bed makes you feel so much better and cleaner, you know, especially when you have that incision, you want to keep that clean and nice. And so having some nice sheets to change into, something to look forward to at the end of the day. Also, you're gonna get some pain medication. So I got ibuprofen, Colace, and Norco, and I was supposed to take the ibuprofen every 6 hours, and then the Colace twice a day, and then you would take the Norco as needed. So the Norco is a narcotic, and so you can't operate heavy machinery with it, which doesn't mean forklift, it means driving a car. And so I would take the Norco about once a day, and I'd have to be off it for 24 hours before I was able to drive a car. I also didn't want to drive a car for the first 2 weeks anyway, because there's a lot of like twisting while you're going, as well as like lifting your feet and things like that. So once I felt comfortable lifting my feet, and once I didn't need the strong pain medication, I was able to drive. But it didn't mean that I wasn't no longer in pain. I definitely would still take regular Tylenol and regular ibuprofen, probably until I was about 3 weeks postpartum. So now I have the Hatch sound machine, and my recommendation is the Hatch sound machine. I mentioned this before, but I also just feel like a nightlight in general is so helpful, and being able to change the colors on it and the sounds just really helped you kind of keep the lights low in the nursery. So while I personally love the Hatch sound machine, I recommend any type of nightlight like this that you can use for those middle of the night feedings. So I am a huge fan of freezer meals and freezer meal prep. And I actually have a video of some of the meals that I prepped for this pregnancy, but I've done it for all 4 of my pregnancies and all 4 of my postpartum periods. And it has really made a difference, even just having 3 or 4 meals in the freezer that you know you can feed your family. One of the things that I like to do is, if I'm cooking something, I'll double the recipe and put half of it into the freezer. And this works for any meal, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. For example, we have some egg scrambles, and it's just some scrambled eggs with some sausage mixed in, and you can reheat that. They are pre-portioned into meal portions. You just pop this in the microwave and you're ready to go. You could even do it one-handed. It is so nice to be able to have something ready to go. And kind of as like a part 2 to that is a lot of the times you only have a couple meals in your freezer, or maybe you're not the type of person who had enough time to prep it ahead of time, and now you have a baby and you don't know what to do. So another piece of advice that I have is to pay for household services that you wouldn't normally pay for. This is harder to do because I know when you're on maternity leave, now you don't have a paycheck, and that now maybe means your money is a little bit tighter. And I totally understand that, but sometimes it's worth paying for those services to make your life easier in those initial 12 weeks before you go back to work. You have your freezer meals, but you could also do meal kits like HelloFresh. You could do Factor meals. You could do Hungry Root. That's a new one that's just recently come out. You could send away for a laundry service. I've never done this, but I know that there's definitely families out there that send it out, and that has just saved so much time. Also, things like grocery delivery. I have always been a fan of grocery pickup. That still involves loading everyone into the car, driving to the store, and then unloading the groceries from the car, which is really hard to do when you're healing. I can lift 1 gallon of milk, because a gallon of milk weighs 8 pounds and my baby weighs 9 pounds. But guess what? When I had a 7-pound baby, I couldn't lift a gallon of milk, let alone 2 gallons, let alone 4 gallons that feeds my family. So unloading that out of the car is just not an option. So having groceries delivered, although it is an additional expense with the delivery fees and then tipping them, it does make it so much easier that you're able to get all of the groceries that you need at home, at least for a couple weeks. You know, this doesn't have to be a forever thing. Other things could be like sending out your laundry, hiring a housekeeper, or even if you're getting a car wash, having the car who comes to your house to do the car wash. You don't even have to get into the car and drive anywhere to drive through it. They come to your house, you get a car wash, and your car looks all nice, and you have another errand checked off your list. So my final piece of advice on how to make a C-section recovery easier and how to make postpartum easier regardless is to have something to look forward to. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy like, oh, I'm looking forward to like my 10-year anniversary trip to Hawaii, but just something daily that you enjoy. So it could be something like, I love getting my iced coffee and I have someone bring it to me in the mornings, and that is something that I enjoy rather than just making my coffee at home. I love little sweet treats, so I have like a chocolate muffin, or sometimes I'll have a homemade brownie and I'll warm it up and eat it with some ice cream. Or I'm reading a really good book that I'm enjoying, and so when I have a couple minutes, or if I'm eating my lunch or something, I'll read a couple chapters of my book. It could be a fun game that you play on your phone. It could be some other type of hobby. Maybe you're doing a puzzle. Maybe you go and you take a walk every day, even if it's just like to the end of the block and back. Whatever it may be, it has to be something that can be interrupted and something that can be done off schedule, because as we know, newborns like to kind of go off routine a little bit. So maybe it's something you do in the morning, something you do at night, but then the next day, maybe you do it at lunchtime. And it also has to be something that is just for mom. So do not include chores in here. Do not include doing the dishes. That is not the fun thing. It has to be something fun that you enjoy and that you are looking forward to. And so for me, it's my coffee and then my little brownie that I have for dessert. Also, I want to give a special shout out to my husband Eric, and to my parents and to my in-laws who are on my list of essentials for a C-section recovery. I wanted to give a shout out to them for all of the help that they have given me in those first couple weeks of recovery, from coming out and watching the older sisters while we were in the hospital, to coming early mornings and late nights and helping with morning routines and bedtime routines. and making my life easier so I can heal and recover. And I know that my husband is not going to be on your recovery checklist, but I hope that you have a community or some family around you that can help with that initial recovery process so you can bond with your baby during such a challenging but a wonderful time. So thank you all for watching all the way to the end, and thank you for being here with me at the Life of the Troxels. Here's my little C-section baby getting up from his nap. And I just want to say, if you are in the same walk of life as me, where you're in those depths of postpartum recovery, then please subscribe and stick along as I share this journey as a new mama of 4. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and stick around for more Life of the Troxels. Thanks for watching.